it is with very deep regret that I am unable to personally address you today. However, I am sure that the Honourable Minister of State will do so with more vigor and passion than I could muster. As you have placed at our disposal and the warmth and hospitality with which you have received us. On behalf of the federal government and the National Council on Power, I express profound gratitude to you, the governor, the government, and the people of Edo State. I must commend the dedication with which you have approached the very serious business of governance. Your developmental initiatives, actions, and the peaceful environment you have promoted as a platform for charting the developmental course of Edo State have not gone unnoticed at the federal level. Please keep up the good work. As you must be aware, the theme of this year's conference is increased access to electricity through improved power infrastructure. This is deliberate with the intention to focus our nation through this council on what the next steps are on our journey towards incremental, stable, and uninterrupted power supply. First, let me reiterate that although the power sector has been privatized as a business, government through the federal, state, and local governments with the workers still holds 40% of the shares of the distribution companies. Government at the federal level is still active towards completing some of the NIPP projects. Government is still the bulk trader at the federal level and the driver through policy and action of off-grid power and rural electricity supply. The point I wish to make, therefore, is that all state governments have a role to play to support the private sector in many ways. I will speak of some of them. Specifically, as far as power supply from the grid is concerned, we are able to produce 7,000 megawatts with the potential to increase this year and also transmit that power. However, we are only able to distribute 5,000 megawatts, which leaves us with unused power of about 2,000 megawatts. At an average of 200 homes per megawatt of power, that can impact 400,000 homes if we act together at federal and state government levels to bring efficiency to on-grid power supply. And this is why the theme of increased access through improved infrastructure was chosen. What is needed is the last mile infrastructure of 33 kV and 11 kV lines, transformers, breakers, and allied equipment to distribute the power to homes, offices, factories, etc. It is no longer news that the DISCOs are having difficulty funding this distribution infrastructure. Therefore, as a collective 40% shareholder, we cannot sit back without finding a solution. In addition to other measures already taken by the federal government on advice from our ministry, has committed to intervene in provision of some distribution equipment after consultation with the DISCOs. What I propose to this council, therefore, is that each state government should consider and work with the DISCOs that serves your state. I urge you to find places where people can pay and require more power. Identify the distribution equipment needed to deliver the power, cost it, agree with the DISCO, make the investment if you can, and agree a cost recovery strategy. Provide policy and administrative support to implement what you agree upon. You can also, through your secretariats, your schools, your hospitals, police and security formations, take the benefit of the eligible customer policy for large consumers up to 2 megawatts whose supply is hampered by inadequate distribution equipment. This will again require that you invest in the distribution equipment servicing these critical catchments of power demand. You will, of course, have to work out a compensation program in agreement with the DISCOs under the directives I have issued to NAP in this regard. There are many other things you can do to support access to power and improve infrastructure, including but not limited to ensuring that your state and local government MPAs pay their debts and also pay for energy used. These are challenging times, but the first step is to acknowledge that there are unpaid debts, if indeed there are, and to work out a payment plan. This can be the basis for negotiating new terms and service levels of supply while you implement a payment plan that is agreed. Federal government has taken a similar step concerning its own established debt of $27 billion through a process of verification of about 450,000 bills. In addition to the meter asset provider regulations issued by NERC, this opens a window of participation to entrepreneurs to enter the business of meter production, supply, and installation. Apart from the job creation component for citizens that many state governments have trained in skill acquisition related to electrical works, this is a window of intervention for state governments to play an enabling role to support small businesses to operate in the power sector. More importantly, increased supply of meters, a major infrastructure in the power chain, will bridge the distrust and help manage the conflict that exists between some of your residents and the DISCOs about estimated billing. These are some of the collaborative efforts that I can now suggest about how to improve access to on-grid power, but they are not exhaustive. The imaginative power of each state will reveal more. Indeed, I would like to hear from Edo, Delta, and Ondo states about any interest they may have about taking and paying for dedicated power from the Azura 459 megawatt plant, which has just been commissioned, and is agreeable to an off-take agreement by you, the nearest state to the power plant, on terms that secure recovery of costs. This is an opportunity to support industries in your states, increase productivity, create business efficiency and employment. I would be delighted to hear from you. On the off-grid possibilities, they offer the quickest route to supply power to people not yet connected to the grid, or those who are connected but not getting good service. Happily, NERC has provided the regulations to support this. State governments like Abia, Kano, Lagos, Ondo, and Oyo have shown interest to use this to supply power to small businesses and traders in markets like Ariaria, Sabongari, Sula, and Bagi. The Rural Electrification Agency is the statutory facilitator of this program under regulation by NERC. The power projects being developed in these markets are not funded by government, but by private sector developers who connect market men and women through their associations and cooperatives. They do so on a willing buyer, willing seller basis. This is not different from what generator and inverter suppliers do with individual customers. The difference here is that more customers are served by a single power source, and the energy source is solar or gas, which is environmentally cleaner than diesel and petrol. There is a lot of scope to do more of this, subject to regulation, to increase access to our most vulnerable people. In intentions. It is you, the state governments, who know your people and communities much better than the federal government could possibly know. For the champions of restructuring and true federalism, it already exists in the power sector. The door is open. Every state can get as much power as she wishes, and my ministry remains ready and willing to provide the support to those who require it. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you all very fruitful deliberations and safe journey.
I have no doubt that choice Edo State, which can rightly be described as the core of the electricity industry in Nigeria, presents us with an ideal environment capable of stimulating profound insights that will enrich our search for solutions to the myriad of challenges confronting the power industry in Nigeria. One of the most prevalent issues which have found its way into a national discourse and is also of great interest to us in Edo State is how to increase electricity supply so that both the common man and industry can have adequate and sustained power supply. Therefore, I find it very heartwarming that this is the core of the discussion of this campus session. Sadly, the pain of not getting it right in the power industry is not only at the heart of our own development, it is a major disincentive to local and foreign investments, as it has continually kept our local production capacity dragging, and it has plunged our business climate into the unfortunate realm of declining manufacturing activities. And the sad outcome has been soaring unemployment, leading to increased social violence. The fact that Ministry of Power, or the Minister of Power, has acknowledged that our nation is experiencing enormous challenges in the power sector and has decided to provide leadership and a common platform for all stakeholders to come together and seek options and solutions out of the problem is a truly pleasant boost for which we in Edo State are very grateful. I have always believed that it's possible to change the prevailing gloomy atmosphere in the power sector through concerted efforts by stakeholders, as we have demonstrated in Edo State. One reason why I asked that this session be moved to this venue is that about 10 years ago, in this same venue, we had a similar event. Not quite the Council of Power, but it was an event which we hosted, and we had in our presence the then Minister of Power, Professor Babatunde Raji. It was out of that session that the idea of Azura was conceived. And 10 years after, we were proud to say as partners, we were able to deliver a power plant that has supplied many products across the world as one of the front running projects on project financing done in Nigeria in the last 2 to 3 years. So I'm hopeful that out of this session, some other revolutionary ideas or initiative to fix the power industry in Nigeria will emanate. It is ultimately from such efforts that we get great benefits which are capable of eradicating the common failure of our nation's electricity supply. Edo State is privileged to be a hub of the full chain of the electricity industry in Nigeria. We have benefited over the years from huge federal government investments in generation, transmission, and distribution. In Edo State today, we currently have an installed capacity, generating capacity of 900 megawatts. This generation is made up of 450 megawatts from NIPP plant in Nacop and another 450 megawatts from the solar power plant laying next door. Our vision in Edo State is that we expect to double this capacity within the next 5 years. And we believe that this will be achieved from our ongoing efforts with partners like Siemens, BP, Osama Power Infrastructure, and Azura Edo ICT. We believe that these are modest efforts will contribute in boosting generation and providing availability in Nigeria. In the area of transmission, Edo State also enjoys a comparative advantage because we are situated at the node of the transmission industry in this country. We have the benefit of investments that were made over the years in being made on South level and being north next to the Azura and power plants. I do not believe that there's any other location in Nigeria that enjoys the level of investments that have been made in transmission in Edo State. Similarly, our state is crisscrossed and perhaps the largest and most extensive network of TCN in Nigeria. All of these bring their benefits to happens. For us, we've been very worried as a government that the indiscriminate location of businesses and individuals on that high tension lines. We had a very unfortunate incident last week in Nacop, where one of the tension lines dropped and set very many homes ablaze and several people were killed. We, as government, set up a committee to try and evacuate people currently doing business or living on the high tension lines. We have a report and which we have shared in the industry with the Edozien, and we will share it in the government. Some of the complaints we have received from people who continue to insist on living under the knife is that they will never pay compensation when those lines were constructed. When the right of way was acquired, we have been able to obtain documents from several of them and these to form the basis of conversations and discussions with TCN. We are also aware that TCN is currently working on the transmission line, the solar line from Azura, and we have been working with TCN, we provided them with aerial maps, and we hope that they will not fall into that temptation of the compensation rackets that go with acquisition of right of ways for their operations. And these markets be very exorbitant cost of compensation and slow down the work of acquisition of right of way. We want to at this juncture thank the management of TCN for the investments they continue to make in Edo State. We appreciate them for the injection station in Iroa and for the work which they are already doing with us to boost our electricity supply in Abuchi. In the area of distribution, Edo State experience in power supply unfortunately has not been inspiring. And so to think that we can keep our developmental drive alive without the support of dependable, affordable, and sustainable power from the national grid through the DISCO is going to be a very difficult hurdle to surmount. And for an administration like ours that is encouraged to channel the energies of our very mobile systems into productive capacity for transformational growth, with prospects of becoming the economic hub of Nigeria, apart from the unexpected impediments involved in successfully bringing private investors. It means therefore that we cannot and we will not be held ransom by anybody in our quest to develop. As a government, we have become very uncomfortable with the increasing sufferings of our electricity customers in Edo State. And we are being pushed to a situation where we will no longer accept it. We are daily inundated with complaints and protests against the Benin electricity distributor company, and we are in a continuous struggle to keep our people calm. We cannot guarantee how much longer we continue to do this. But the most unfortunate part of the complaints across the state is that these complaints are similar in nature, and the response of that company has not been encouraging. Let me tell you, I'll go through some experiences. As a movement, several months ago, we called the management of BBC to a meeting, concerned that we wanted to resolve some of the challenges. We decided to set up electricity committees in every local government. Each committee is chaired by a commissioner from that local government. The membership is made up of the chairman of the local government, my senior special assistant in the local government, a representative from the local office of EDC, and we had a similar committee at the state level with the managing director of EDC. Since we set up, we've gone around all our communities to get their issues, to get complaints, and this is the summary of what we found. That 199 communities were under disconnection because EDC claimed that they're owing. 128 communities had issues with broken down infrastructure that require rehabilitation. They were not prepared to invest in therefore that 419 transformers require replacements. These are transformers, you recall, were mostly purchased by the efforts of the debt, Nacop, and the Edo State government. With the new arrangement where the investor wants to make a mistake, the challenge we have as a government is why should we continue to invest taxpayers' money in someone else's private business without any clear guidelines on how to get that money back? In any case, we believe that before these investors purchased from it, they convinced the federal government at that time that they had the resources to make these investments. 195 communities in Edo State have never ever seen electricity. And in the state of our distribution company, it's going to be possible from the way they're giving to extend power to those communities. So we have to do something as a state. They claim that the total debt to BDC or the exposed to them is 10.2 billion, out of which 3 billion is legacy debt from the old BDC. Of that amount, 3 billion they claim is legacy, while 7 billion is the new debt that has been acquired. No community will enjoy more than 8 hours of electricity a day, even with the benefits their capacity to enjoy by the bulk of the power industry. They are poor military services. In fact, we have evidence of deliberate attempts not to sell or distribute that by means. And because they are not prepared, most communities have issues with overbilling from these estimated billing systems. Like I said, BDC has been doing and it's been very clear that we cannot and will not extend electricity supply to communities that were not hitherto served. Thank you very much.
The regulator NERC, NEMSA, contractors, service providers, representatives of NGOs, members of the public, who are the most important constituency because they're the ones who can tell whether we're succeeding or failing in their consumption of power, the operators who deliver, generate, transmit, distribute the power, and of course the ministry who superintend the system. So for all of us here, it's our collective responsibility to deliver a power supply that meets our country's expectations. Now, although we have recorded some success over the last years and since the last Nacop, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that we have not yet succeeded. I'm sure all of us have friends, neighbors, colleagues who have one complaint or the other about the power system. And that is why we're assembled here today, to see how collectively we can begin to address and reduce those complaints so that we get the desired incremental, stable, and uninterrupted power supply. Now, as a ministry, we have put together a set of regulatory and policy actions that goes by the name of the Power Sector Recovery Program to reset the industry. And I think in the course of this Nacop, various officials of the ministry will be circulating or discussing aspects of that plan. And it involves all of us. There are things the regulator must do, there are things the operators must do, there are things state governments must do, there are things the security agencies must do, there are things the court system must do, there are things for the assembly to do. So all of us have to work together to solve this national problem. Now, many of us have expectations that are realistic and legitimate. We want better supply. For operators, they want to be able to provide service and make a fair profit. There's nothing wrong with that. There are some aspirations that are illegitimate. There are those who want to take the power and not pay for it. And I think we, as an industry, we have to rise up and challenge those people. Security agencies, you have a particularly important role to play in this regard. There are operators who have illegitimate expectations. They want to make unfair profit, or they want to charge customers what they should not be charging. Again, we have to collectively rise up and point out those illegitimate expectations and put in place policies, regulations, actions that combat and control them. But it is our responsibility to make this industry work. When it works, we will all be happy, not only as participants in a success story, but also as consumers of the product. When it doesn't work, and I must admit now, it is better, but it is not yet working. When it doesn't work, it is no good to say, I've done my own part, I'm a success. As long as the industry as a whole is not meeting our country's expectations, then all of us collectively have failed. So I think we have to have that attitude as stakeholders. Let us do our bit, think, act reasonably and practically to make the industry work. It doesn't do us any good to say that the disco is the villain, or NERC is the villain, or REA is the villain. No. Let us put our minds together and see how to come up with constructive, realistic policies that regulate the industry, allow everybody to gain their legitimate expectations, and deliver a system that works for all of us. So once again, welcome to this 4th edition of Nacop. I hope we can do just that over the next few days. Thank you very much.
Because we came up with several strategies where we work very hard to reposition TCN. So I'm going to run through the presentation, but I also want to tell you that the strategy we put in place had both soft and hard. Soft in terms of reviewing the management scheme, the staffing and the rest, management structure, and also ensuring that TCN staff imbibe the culture of IT. And the hard is in the form of investment in the transmission network to put N-1 redundancy across the country. So when we came last year, we came with we established what is called Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program. And the objective of that program is to rehabilitate, stabilize, provide necessary flexibility, redundancy, and expand the wheeling capacity of TCN to 20,000 megawatts. I will tell you how we intend to go to 20,000 megawatts in the next 3 to 4 years. Now, I told you when we came, TCN was the weakest link in the power value chain. So for us to solve the problem of TCN, we need to do 4 things. And these are the 4 things you are seeing here. What are the 4 things? We need to have critical investment in lines and substations. We need to have frequency control. We need to have a spinning reserve, and we need to have a functional SCADA. I will tell you very quickly what we have done on each of these. Investment in critical infrastructure. What I want to tell you is that we established the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program, which the hard side of it is the investment in critical infrastructure. Meaning we are going to build new lines, new substations, and we are going to put new communication system. Now, on the frequency control, I want to tell you that we achieved a frequency control of 50.5 and 49.5 and 50.5. Something that has not been achieved in the last 20 years of the history of Nigeria. Last 20 years, we have not achieved that stability. Even WAP has recognized that, and they have agreed that we should synchronize the frequency between Nigeria and the rest of West Africa. We have also come up with a strategy to achieve the grid code specified frequency control, which is 49.8 and 50.2. We have come up with a strategy. Lawal is here, who is the head of ISO. He can give more information if anybody wants more detail on it. We came up with a strategy, but we were asked to step down because it's not the right time to implement it. At the appropriate time, we'll implement that so that we move to 49.8 and 50.2, which is actually the standard of WAP. Yes. So on the spinning reserve, just about 2 weeks ago, we have done a competitive procurement of spinning reserve. We have advertised, so we are going to procure the spinning reserve. As at now, our generation is between 4,500 and 5,000. The spinning reserve is supposed to be 450. If you check our daily broadcast now, the spinning reserve is only 0 or 40. It's only 0 or 40. Some of you may not understand what is spinning reserve. The spinning reserve is generators that will be put on a mood that will support the system if there's a great instability. So they will automatically come out. For example, if a generator, one of the generators went out of the system for mechanical or technical problem, this spinning reserve generator is supposed to take up that position so that the system will not go to instability. The frequency control, let me also tell you the frequency control. The frequency control is about putting the generators on a mode which we call for them to fluctuate according to the loads in the grid. What am I trying to say? You know, the grid is just like a generator that you put near your house. So if you have a generator near your house and the generator is generating 20 kVA and your house has a load that is 5 kVA, if you own the generator, if the line that comes to your house is also 20 kVA, if you own the generator, even if the generator is 20 kVA, it will only generate what? It will generate only 5 kVA. Now, if you increase the load in your house, out to the level that the load becomes 20 kVA or 21 kVA, what will happen? If you own the generator will not start. Now, the frequency control is to put, that's what we call free go. The level that if the load in your house goes down, the machine should go down automatically. Somebody doesn't have to call them, reduce your load. No, they should go down automatically. That's the frequency control. And that's what I told you we have achieved 49.5 and 50.5. Now we need to have what we call functional SCADA. 3 times TCN has attempted to establish SCADA in Nigeria, and 3 times we are not successful. When we came last year, one of the first things we did was to establish a committee to review how we failed at establishing functional SCADA in the last 3 years. When the committee submitted a report which was headed by Lawal, that time he was the GM operation, some of the findings of that report include that we have a lot of deficiencies in our control room. It also includes that the communication backbone is not very robust. It includes that we need to have end-to-end procurement, meaning we should also take into account non-material procurement and so many things. That was after that we launched the scoping of the SCADA, which was done by EDF. EDF submitted their final report, launched the scoping report by a company called EDF. EDF is Electricity de France. EDF submitted the report in December last year. When they submitted the report, the normal thing is for us to launch the procurement of SCADA. But we said, no, we can't do that. What we did was to call a conference on SCADA. And the conference took place barely about 1 month ago. In that conference, we brought 3 power grids. We brought Power Grid of India, we brought the Grid Co of Ghana, and Tana, which is the grid of Italy. We also brought all the original equipment manufacturers of SCADA. All of them, we brought them. We brought Siemens, ABB, Hawaii, Nari, GE, all of them. We brought them in a room in Hilton. And we gave them the report 1 month before the time to review the report. And they came and we discussed the report. Now, that workshop enriched the report. Our thinking before was that if we have done this procurement 3 times, and 3 times we are not very successful, and 3 times is the same contractor, Something is wrong with our procurement. That's why we say let's open up. Maybe there are certain equipment that is only one bidder can bid, because SCADA is a specialized equipment. I can tell you the report was very enriching. It has strengthened our report, and it has also come up with something that we are doing. And what is that thing? It has shown that we cannot launch the SCADA unless we strengthen the communication backbone. So immediately after the workshop, I asked Lawal, he's here, give me the communication map of TCN. So, and they gave me, just yesterday, they gave me the communication map. Now we are going to launch procurement of certain critical communication in certain lines. For example, the line between Ajakuta and Benin, we need to put fiber optic on that line, the 330 from Ajakuta to Benin. We need to put 330 fiber optic between Keja West and Egbin, and several of them we are going to put it. And very soon you will see the launching of that procurement. So that's what we are going to do. So that is SCADA. So we believe that if we do implement what we are doing, including the report the way it is, we are going to have a functional SCADA where everybody who is on the grid will be seen, and anybody who contravenes the grid code will be punished appropriately. That is how we can have a stable grid. Now, in our effort also to stabilize the grid, we look at the existing contracts that in TCN, and some fundamental issues has come up. One of the things that we discovered is that many of the contracts that we are implementing are not working very well. And why are they not working? Most of the time you have this lion and rat arrangement, where the lion ships the equipment and the rat cannot even install the equipment. So at the time we came, there are about 800 containers that were stranded in the port of Nigeria. So we need to do something to recover those containers in the port. I'm pleased to tell you that as at last week, we have recovered 688 containers out of the 800 containers that are in the port. 688 containers, we have recovered them. And we did not only recover them, we are using in-house capacity of TCN to install most of these transformers. I'm happy to tell you also, between June and today, we have installed 25 power transformers across the country using TCN engineers. And I can tell you, you can come and verify. Some of them at the rate of about 10% of what we normally pay contractors. One of these transformers that we installed is here around in Benin. We have installed 40 MVA in Auchi using the regional office here. So that is what we have done. And that has significantly expanded our capacity, the capacity of TCN, which was about 5,000 when we came in. As at December, when we last simulated, the capacity of TCN was 7,124. I believe if we do the simulation now, it will be far more higher. So we are using TCN engineers to do things that they can do instead of giving contractors. We are also taking some of the underperforming contractors. There are some of them, the contracts have been awarded since 2004, some 2012. The job is not finished. And when we investigate to find out, when we find out that those people have taken the contract as if they are farm, every year they go through variation, they keep on collecting money on those contracts. So the decision we took on those contracts, some of them is that TCN engineers will go in and finish the job, and then we'll commission it. We pay you, but we help you finish the job. And we are not going to ask you to pay us for completing the job. That is how, for example, we are able to complete Kukwaba. Kukwaba, we completed it for the contractor. We paid him all his money, but we have stopped the variation. No more variation in that place. We have finished. That's how we also did Daura Kasana. That's how we did several places. Now there are some contractors, they will not accept this kind of arrangement. Let's help you to complete. We will pay you. They still believe that this is a farm and the farm should continue. Such contractors, we cancel the contract. Yes, they can go to court, it doesn't matter. If they get judgment, then government will pay them. But what matters is that we must provide electricity to those people. And I can tell you, one of those such contracts that we take over just about 2 weeks ago, that is Wudil. Either today or tomorrow, Wudil will be energized. Another contract that we take over like that forcefully is the Ijebu-Ode I gave instruction to the Honorable, you are there. I gave instruction to the GM when I went to look the place, and I told him in 3 weeks he must deliver. I think he delivered 2 days short of the 3 weeks, and we commissioned it together with him. That contract has been there. That contract has been there for 5 years. It has not been completed. 3 weeks they completed it. And I can tell you, as we speak with you, TCN engineers are building substation on an island, greenfield. They are building it. They are building a substation in an island. Anybody can go and verify it. There's an island they call Elashe in Lagos. TCN engineers are the one building the substation. Our engineering estimate for that contract is about 1 billion. I can tell you, as we speak with you, what the engineers have collected is not up to 90 million. And the job is 95% completed. So this is the new thing that is happening. Now we have also discovered that there are several lines, there are several areas where we have substation and we don't have lines to take that substation. Let me give you an example. Between Alimosho, Ogba, Ota, Alausa and Maryland, we can recover about 1,000 megawatts, meaning we have about 1,000 megawatt capacity that the line cannot take. What we have decided is that we have asked our research and development department, the GM is here, Tom is here, he is the GM R&D. We told him, go and do research and tell us, which are do we have light conductors that are light and are carrying can carry heavy capacity of power. They did research and they came up with what we call gap, which will carry sometimes 3 times of the capacity of the lines that we have, of the wires that we have now. And we have checked, it's not that expensive. If you check last week, we launched the procurement of the conductor. We are buying the conductor and all the equipment that will help TCN engineers to do the reconducting, and they are going to do it in-house. We are not going to give it to contractors. In-house engineers of TCN, they will reconductor. So we are going to reconductor, for example, from Onitsha to Nibo to Oji River. We will reconductor from Kaduna, Zaria, Funtua, Gusau. We will reconductor from Alimosho and from Ikeja West, Alimosho, Ogba to Ota. We are going to reconductor, and we are going to do several. We are going to also reconductor from Aba to Itu and several other places. We are going to reconductor. So TCN engineers will do that reconductor. If they can build substations, I don't see any reason why they cannot reconductor lines. Can you move? Now this picture, that is the map of Nigeria. I don't know. I don't have a pointer here. Is there anybody who has a pointer? I will have. Where is my bag? Yeah. Can you give me a pointer? Thank you. This is the map of Nigeria, and this is the grid. If you see the one that you are seeing in yellow, in blue, that is the map of the grid, which is the grid. You know, I told you we need to have critical investment in transmission. I've talked to you about spinning reserve. I've talked to you about the SCADA. Also, I've talked to you about frequency control. Now, let me talk detail about the investment. Now, when we came to TCN, we need to raise money to expand the grid and do the investment in critical infrastructure. Now, there are various options that we can use. We either use our internally generated revenue, or we get contractor finance, or we do what you call PPP. But when we check, because of the liquidity of the power sector, all those options, none of them is going to work. Because TCN gets less than 40% of its revenue from the market. And that is hardly enough to pay for salary, regardless of do maintenance and build new lines. So what we did was to go to the Ministry of Finance and ask for support to get loan from multilateral donor agencies. For information, I've worked in the African Development Bank for 9 years. It's from the African Development Bank I came. So I know how to get money through that source. So we want to approach them. Ministry of Finance agreed to support us, but there are issues. What are those issues? One of the issues that we have is that TCN has not got good credit history of project implementation. In fact, there's a report that was written by the World Bank that indicated TCN capacity to implement project is not more than $100 million a year. So we need to do something to correct that and make the donors have confidence in us. So what we did was to create this transmission rehabilitation and expansion program. And under it, we created 4 projects, project management units. Those 4 project management units are staffed by TCN engineers and accountants and various people. But what we did is that in the past, anybody can be in the project management unit. If you are connected to somebody at the top, either the MD or somebody else. Now, what happened? This time around, we advertised the position and we asked TCN people to apply. We come up with the QR, we put it on send it through our internal communication and asked them to respond to the QR. Several of them responded to QR. For the project manager, we called them to come for exam. When they came, we gave them computer and I set the question by myself and I set it 1 hour before the exam. Lowell was the one who supervised the exam. When they came, we gave them computer. Automatically, those that are computer illiterate, they cannot they can't open the computer, so they're out automatically because you have to be computer literate. So after the exam, we did the marking. Those that qualified, we called them for interview, we interviewed them, and we selected them. We also selected all the other key staff like the substation supervisor, coordinator, the accountant, and the procurement people. All of them, we selected them in that method. Now, after selecting them, we approached the donors. And we also did some other things. One of the things we discovered that was creating problem was the fact that we have been employing incompetent contractors in the past. So we raised the qualification criteria for procurement of goods in TCN. We had a lot of resistance, but we stayed the course because we know where we're heading. Let me tell you one of the good things that has happened. We just finished Abuja Transmission Project. Abuja Transmission Project is the project, the Abuja Transmission Scheme is the project financed by AFT. And that project is putting 5 substations in Abuja and a new line from Lafayette to Abuja. We finished the project, we finished it. And you know what? All the lowest bidder are the one that I recommended. All the lowest bidder for the 6 lots, the one that gave us the lowest price are the one that I recommended. Why is it like that? Because we did pre-qualification and we made sure that rats don't come in. And we did the packaging in such a way that all the biggest companies in the world will be interested in it. And that is why there is no thing like he didn't bid out of scope or he bid not according to specification. Because you are talking of APP competing with Siemens and GE and all those ones. There is no way that they will bid not according to the specification because they know it. You understand? So Eugene Mohammed is not there that will bid out of scope. And one good thing that also happened is that the saving in terms of our previous way we do costing, in some cases the saving is up to 50%. I'm just telling you. It's up to 50%. Because Lion is competing with Lion. Another thing I want to tell you is that 2 companies that have never visited Nigeria, those 2 companies also won. They have never visited Nigeria. So they didn't have to see you to be able to win the job. They won the contract. So this is what I want to tell you. So now we have raised 10 minutes to go. So we have raised what we call $1.57 billion now to expand the grid. Part of the money is going to finance what we call brownfield project. And that money that will finance brownfield project is coming from the World Bank. It's $486 million. That project is financing only existing substation and existing line. In Benin here, Benin TS, we are going to put 2 transformers. One by 300 MVA and one by 100 MVA, 300 MVA, and one by 100 MVA at 330 and 132. And that's what we are doing all over the country. Under that project, we are conducting from here to at 132, from here to Irua to up to Opela. We are going to reconduct, change the wire and put a high capacity wire. That's what we are going to do. And that's what we are doing all over the country under that project. That project, we also came up with something, because of lack of time, not telling you everything we are doing. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, we came up with what they call advanced procurement. What is advanced procurement? You start the procurement even before the project becomes effective. So as we speak, even the World Bank project that was approved in the board of World Bank in February, the procurement is more than 70% completed because we started since last year. So that's how it is. Now we have another project called Abuja Transmission Scheme, which I told you. That project is $170 million. It's financed by AFT. We also have another one they call Northern Corridor. Northern Corridor is solving transmission and transformation problem in the northwest. Under that project, 3 critical transmission lines, 330 kV transmission line will be built. There will be one from Kaenji to Benin-City to Sokoto. There will be one from Katsina to Daura to Guiwa and then to come to Jogana and terminate at Kura. That line is the one that will evacuate the Director of Rural and Renewable Energy is here. Nigeria has planned to put a 1,000 megawatt solar IPP in Guiwa, which is the like of what Morocco did in Marrakesh, which we want to replicate. So we want to build the evacuation line even before the project starts, because the intention is to ensure that all the problem that will make the private sector not to evacuate, not to do the project is removed. So we are building the line, and under that project, which is financed by AFD, is 274 million. EU is giving us a grant of 25 million specifically because of that line. Also, we are taking 2 lines between Shiroro and Kaduna, which is the old line. Between Shiroro and Kaduna, we have 2 circuits, old lines. Each one of them will carry not more than 300 megawatt. We'll take one and we are going to build a cord line. What is a cord line? You know, we also completed our East Coast expansion plan. You know, we launched it, the minister launched it recently. Under the East Coast expansion plan, everything you are seeing here and I'm talking to you is according to the East Coast expansion plan. We are not doing anything outside our study. So under the East Coast expansion plan, the Fitchner, which is our consultant, look at our expansion at 500, at 700, at 750, and at 330. And the advice is that we should still expand at 330. It's not cost effective for us to move to expansion of what you call super grid at this time. That is what the consultant said. So we are complying with the requirement of the consultant. But what we are doing is that we are optimizing the 330. So currently 330, the expansion at 330, the highest is double circuit. Now we are moving to cord line. Meaning we are going to have 4 conductors instead of 2 conductors. So we are going to construct between Kaduna, here, between Shiroro and Kaduna, we take one of the second and we construct it into cord. Let me be fast because I saw director is saying I'm wasting time. There's a transmission expansion program, NTEP. That project is financed by the African Development Bank. It's $410 million. And that project will construct 3 critical 330 kV transmission lines. One of them is the Alauji Onitsha line. That line was awarded under NDPSC. Oga is here. Where is the Oga of NDPSC? It's awarded under NDPSC to Roxon. We have investigated that project will not be realized. So we have to reconstruct that line because currently the NIPP, the generation at Alauji, we cannot evacuate them properly. And I can tell you several system instability that we have this year. At least about 3 of them came from that line, between Alauji and Onitsha. So we need to reconstruct that line. Then Delta to Benin. Several power stations are coming up between Delta and Benin. And also, even Delta Power Plant, Transco, is expanding. So we also have to reconstruct that line into a cord line. And also between Kaduna and Kano, we have significant constraints, so we have to reconstruct it into cord line. That is what that project is financing. The project, as we speak, we are finalizing the environmental impact assessment and RAP, and it will go to the board of the African Development Bank this year. We have submitted case for advanced procurement, which we believe they will give us approval to start before the end of this month or early next month. Now, another project that we are doing, which is called Ogun Lagos Transmission Project. I acknowledge Honorable Bele here. That project is putting 6 substations between Lagos and Ogun. The purpose of that substation is to attack the most industrialized part of Nigeria. Between Ogun and Lagos, you have the most industrialized part of Nigeria. So we are putting 4 330 kV substations between Ogun and Lagos, and we are putting 2 132, one in Lagos and one in Ogun. That project has completely been scoped. We have finished the design. We have done the environmental impact assessment and the RAP, What is stopping the project is because is that we have a high cost of compensation. So the Honorable Minister directed that the Ogun State government should take over the payment of concession. He wrote a letter, and he copied the President that Ogun should pay. And what we are hearing now, the cost will come down. So we are collaborating with Ogun to ensure that we reduce the cost. I met the governor of Ogun about 2 weeks ago, and he promised that he's going to reduce the cost, and he will take over the cost of the compensation, which the minister said he should do. So this is where we are. There are several other things that we do, but I would have told you, but unfortunately, time is off. Thank you very much.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for more information on the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.